What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Today we're going to be continuing down our IS-4 line and we're going to be taking a look at the Tier 9, the STI. Now we're going to be comparing this tank just like we did last week with its equal counterpart, the IS-8. Now both of these tanks were fun to play. The IS-8 was a little bit harder to go up, but both of these tanks can equally dish out a good amount of damage and penetration, and they can both put up a decent fight if they are used properly. Now the one thing I really want to stress on this IS-4 line, this has been the funnest line I have gone down ever. This has been a very nice line to go down. I mean, the IS-7 line was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but there were some tanks that I just did not want to play with. You know, the IS was one of them. The IS-8 was another one I really didn't want to mess with. It was like every other tank was a fun tank. The KV-1 was okay, but when you got to like the KV-1S, it was a lot of fun, and then you got to the IS, you're like, eh, and then you got to the IS-3 and you had a lot of fun. So this tank line, I have not had a tank that I'm like, I don't care for it too much. I've actually enjoyed this very much. And that being said, if you guys are new to World of Tanks and you're wondering what tank line to go down next, you've been struggling, maybe even with the tank line you're on now, I would highly recommend for new players that really want to have a tank that can really take damage. This line is really nice with hit points. You usually get a lot of hit points with this line. I would highly recommend this line to go down. It'll teach you how to angle yourself pretty nicely, to bounce shots, but even if you don't angle perfectly, you can ricochet some shots with this tank. It is a nice line to go down, and I would highly recommend this for new players. I know a lot of people have said, oh, this is a noob tank line, and I don't like having to say it's a noob line, but it is a new player line. It really is a nice line to go down, and you'll thoroughly enjoy it. You won't have too much of a problem. I had a little bit of problem with the first gun on this tank in particular, but other than that, it was a lot of fun to play this line. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, but anyways, guys, let's get into this. Let's start comparing these two tanks together. So starting off with the IS-8, the hit points on the IS-8 completely maxed out. Now I want to state that really quickly, that we are comparing two tanks that are completely maxed out. We're using the biggest package you can unlock on the IS-8 and the biggest package you can unlock on the STI. So if I do call it the STI, I'm sorry. I'm trying to call it the STI so people don't think it's a sexually transmitted disease. Freaking STI. Alrighty. The IS-8 hit points is 1,800 once it's completely upgraded. So I believe the original hit points is like 1,700, but it does get a boost in hit points to 1,800. Now the STI hit points is 1,900. So the STI, once again, this line has been outdoing the equal line of the IS-7 by a little bit, but hey, that 100 hit points can actually save your life. I say that almost every video, but it really can. You can have 100 hit points left where the IS-8 would have died on something. So having that little bit of extra cushion does help out. Now the speed on the IS-8 is 50 kilometers per hour, where the STI is 40 kilometers per hour. So the IS-8 maneuverability is a little bit better. I even believe, I didn't look up the stats on this, but you can look this up yourself if you want to. But I believe even the track rotation is even a little bit better than this one. You got to think of this really as a heavy tank, the STI. It's a heavy bastard. So, but you know, 10 kilometer per hour difference can help you out a little bit, and the maneuverability can help you out. But really, this tank uses a lot of armor and angled parts to help ricochet a lot. So I'm not too worried about, you know, really getting myself turned around. It has hindered me on a couple battles, but nothing that has pissed me off to the point like I'm like, oh my god, I can't ever get around to shoot at these people. I usually can get it turned around enough to at least get 1 or 2 shots into somebody before they kill me. Alright, on the IS-8, we're going to be looking at the whole armor. Now, in the front of the IS-8, you have 120 in the front. Now, this is still using the IS-3's beak nose. I know you guys called it something different, and there's an actual proper name, but I've always called it a beak nose, and other people have called it beak nose, so it kind of reminds me of a bird, so that's why I call it like this. But the front is beak nose, so it's 120, so we'll give it probably, I don't know, you can look up some websites that'll give you the actual estimation of the angle of the armor and how much that increases. So I would say it probably increases it almost up to 200, we'll just say. Maybe something like that, maybe even more, it depends. You have 80 on the side and 60 on the rear, so not a lot of armor on the IS-8. It is a really frontal tank. You want to keep this thing pointed at your enemy, just like on the IS-3. If you haven't watched my video, the Rollback Friday, I did a video on the IS-3. I used a rock to help hide most of my front plate, and I was able to take on another IS-3 pretty easily. He did get 1 shot into me in the side of my turret, but pretty much using the front of these tanks is the best thing to do. Now, the whole armor on the STI is 140 in the front, 140 on the side, and 100 on the rear. That is awesome. I mean, this is pretty awesome for the Russian lines to actually have a tank that has a good amount of armor on it, at least in the heavy lines. This is pretty awesome. Now, you're not going to be able to bounce every single thing, but 140 is pretty nice. I mean, especially if you're angled and stuff, that'll help boost up the armor value on this tank. That is really what you have to do with this tank. It's not like the IS-7 line where you're looking at people. This line, you have to angle it, and so that armor value actually goes up probably a good amount. So also, like I said, this probably, if you angle it right, probably goes up to like 200, who knows, something like that. So the turret armor on the IS-8 is 201 in the front, 148 on the side, and 50 on the rear. So the turret armor with the biggest gun on it, you do get that upgraded turret, and you do get a lot more armor, which is nice. So and I have ricocheted things off the side of the IS-8. It's got a pretty nice, well-shaped body to it, so it's not bad at all. It's a really nice increase of armor in the front of this thing, so that's why I tell a lot of people, get a hold down position, you know, get behind some rocks like I did with the IS-3, and you should be fine. You're still gonna have tanks that are gonna be able to pen you, but you know, your turret is angled, and hopefully that'll, you know, increase the value a little bit of your armor. Now, the turret on the STI is 250 in the front, 160 on the side, and 160 on the rear. This tank is just getting better and better as we go over the stats. I mean, seriously, this thing right now has not disappointed me. It's got great armor. I mean, it's not amazing armor on the whole, but you know, you're gonna angle it. And I've bounced a lot with this tank. I've gotten a lot of steel walls with this thing, a lot of them. And but look at the turret. I mean, you're getting this amazing armor on the turret. Now, don't expect it to bounce everything. I have been penned in the mantlet. I have been penned a little bit on the sides and stuff like that. A lot of guys have been using heat rounds or gold rounds against me, so they have been able to hurt me in that sense. But normal rounds usually do bounce. There are those occasions that you will get penetrated, but this has been an amazing tank. The other day I took on an IS-7 and an E100. I think I have Roy behind me trying to back me up in his Waffle Tier 9. But I mean, we were facing these two tanks, and he was trying to take them on, and I'm just trying to protect him and shoot at the same time. Eventually they did get us, but we knocked them down to maybe 100 hit points left in both of them. I mean, we kicked some ass on this. And you know what, we might have gotten killed, but the thing is we took on two tanks at once that are very superior, that have great abilities to them, and it's really nice to see your tier 9 be able to stand up against them and say, hey, fuck you. It's really nice to see that. Alrighty, so on the IS-8, we do have the biggest 122, which is the same 122 that is in the ST-I. There is a little bit of difference in them, and that really comes down to the aiming, the accuracy, and the rate of fire. Now, I do have the rate of fire on here, but I do not have the aim and accuracy, but I will tell you those numbers. The rate of fire on the IS-8 is 4.88, so almost 5 rounds a minute. And the rate of fire on the ST-I is 4.51 rounds a minute. So with both of these crews boosted up, you could probably, both of these tanks can almost do 5 rounds a minute. So I would say they're pretty much equal in that sense. Now, the penetration and the damage on both of these tanks is 258 and 440. So there's no difference in the penetration and damage. They're both going to pen the same and do a good amount of damage. Now, the aim time on the IS-8 is 2.90. The aim time on the ST-I is 3.40. So there is a little bit of a difference on here. The aim time on the STI is a lot longer, even with the gun laying drive to help with that aiming and stuff. It does take a little bit longer, guys. It sucks, but it hasn't been too much of a hinder. I've actually done pretty well on a couple of my games. The aim time on the IS-8 is going to give you that better, I mean, get in there, shoot, and get out of there kind of thing. And that's really what the IS-8 is for. I mean, if you can get a good hold down position, you really want to be able to reload as quickly as possible to shoot up these guys. You know, especially since you do have a little bit less armor, and if you're not using it right, or you can't use it properly because of the enemy's position, I mean, you really want that quicker aim time. So let's see, the accuracy on the IS-8 is 0.37, and the accuracy on the ST-I is 0.37. I feel like that is wrong for some reason, and I'm going to look at that real quick just to make sure. I thought this was different also, but I could be mistaken. No, they're both the same. Okay, so the accuracy is the same. I thought that was different for some reason, but it's not. So really the aim time is the only difference. Like I said, these are the same gun, and I shouldn't be too surprised that it's a little different, but yeah. Anyways, alrighty guys, so we've talked about the actual stats of these two tanks. We're going to start jumping into the actual armor of and looking at the weak spots of the ST-I. So let's look at the frontal armor and see what it has. Alrighty guys, so looking at the ST-I, we're going to be starting in the front of this tank and then moving ourselves to the right side, and then the rear, and then the opposite side, and then we'll jump into a battle and see how this tank can do and what other things I like about this tank. So looking at the front of this, of course they don't state that the lower plate is a penning position. I don't know why nobody ever adds this on this tank. I mean, I have bounced on that thing, but majority of the time, most of those bigger tanks you're going to be facing tier 10s are going to be able to pen you down there. So you got to watch that thing. You really need to make sure you're angled or you're behind a decent hold down position that you are covering that lower plate. Now, you can see that the viewports right there, right in the middle of that upper plate, is very exposed. It's very open, but I'm going to tell you this, okay? If you look at the upper plate, basically where those two little latches, like handle grips that you can hold on to, all that area right there from where the upper and lower plate meet, all the way up to the viewport, that first viewport, not the two on the top, but the first little viewport where the driver is, right there is 140 in the sense of thickness and armor. I do actually have a display that you guys can't see that tells me a little bit of the thickness. Now this could vary between the versions of the game. This is the PC version of the game, and it looks like everything does match up properly in the sense of how thick the armor is on the regular stats. So I'm going by you know, another program that should be telling me the same amount of armor, and it should be accurate. But anyways, but that whole area is about 140 in thickness. So I do agree with that, because I have been penned there pretty easily if I did not angle. Now, where the viewports are, and all the way up to those other 2 viewports is 200 in thickness. There's actually, it's pretty thick right there, so that's not really a weak spot for it. To be honest with you, I would still try for it, just see what happens, but I wouldn't really hope for the best. Now, you can try shooting between the turret and the whole armor, but I've also bounced a lot there. Now, pretty much everything else other than that viewport area is 140. So even the sides right there that kind of flangle out to the left and right side of this tank, they're about 140, but you got to remember they are angled, so they are giving you a little bit more armor if you're facing at somebody. But if you do angle this tank, you do risk the chance of somebody shooting at that 140 angled on the left or right perfectly straight. If you understand what I'm saying, pretty much they're going to have a straight shot at your body a little bit, or if they're up above you, it's going to be a nasty position to be in because they can penetrate you pretty easily, and that has happened to me. So let's move up to the turret real quick, because this actually has some weird spots to it. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the weak spots on this, and then I'll talk about the thickness of the armor on the front of this thing. Now, if you look on the right side, there's like this little hand grip. There's a long bar, but before that long bar, there's like this little hook thingy. I can't really zoom in, but so well. I know you guys are looking at pictures, but look for there's a little hook thingy. Right in there is a little weak spot you can hit. Usually, it should be able to take out either the gunner or the loader. And then also on the other side is either the I think that's the commander you can hurt on there. So both of those little hooks on either side, left and right of the turret, are really nasty spots. Now you guys are probably thinking like that commander's hatch is sticking up there pretty nicely, and that'll be a good spot to shoot. Well, let's get to that in a second. So if you look on left or right side of the gun mantle, that's about 250 thickness right there. On both sides right there. It's pretty fucking thick. So shooting at this thing right there at the gun mantle doesn't always work. Now, I have been penned there, but it's not very easy for those guys to do. That's why I feel like they were using gold rounds. Just where that hook side of both, where I was talking about you can shoot at and hit the commander or the loader or the gunner out, those right there, those are 220 in thickness. So it is still pretty thick. Now let's move up to the spot I really enjoyed to talk about, is the commander's hatch. Now on the KV4, you guys noticed that had pretty thick armor on that like gunner hatch. It wasn't even commander's hatch, it was a gunner hatch. Now this is an actual commander's hatch. This has 200 thickness on it. Now if you shoot at this thing, most of the time you're just going to knock out the viewports on the top. But if you shoot at this to try to damage it, you gotta have a good amount of pen, guys. You gotta have a good amount of pen to do it, and it's very rounded, so it might ricochet a lot. Now, as you can see, looking at this tank straight away, you know, just straight at it, you can see that top part of the rest of the turret is pretty exposed, and it's a little bit angled. That's only 100 armor right there, so it's a nice spot to hit if you're a taller tank than this. I mean, this is a tall tank, so but if you can get, you know, E100, I've seen them shoot at me right there and blow the crap out of me. It's a nasty spot. Or if you're on a hill, great spot to hit on this thing. I mean, this is a fat turret, guys. This is probably one of the fattest turrets out there. So if you're on a hill and you're able to shoot down on this thing, I would highly suggest screw trying to shoot this tank regularly. Shoot this thing right on the top. And this is like basically a landing platform for artillery. So anyways, that's pretty much the front of this tank. So let's move to the side and talk about that. Alrighty guys, here's the side of this tank. Now this is the sides are really pretty much the ones that give me trouble. I really have a lot of hard times with people shooting me in the sides, or kind of an angled shot into the side between the turret and the hull. Let me clarify what I mean. Shooting the between the turret and the hull is very devastating. It usually knocks out my turret rotation, so that ring in there is nasty spot to hit. I've had my turret ring blown out a couple of times on this tank, or at least pretty much almost every game I've had my turret ring at least damaged enough that it's hard for me to turn it. So gotta watch your sides. The front's not too bad on getting damaged that way, but the sides are, there's kind of a space there, and I've been knocked out pretty easily, or my turret has been. Anyways, so starting on the side of the hull, we're going to be looking at the tracked area first. Of course, that main wheel in the front and the main wheel in the back, or the sprocket kind of looking wheel in the back, are great spots to hit this tank. Of course, if you hit there, it's going to track this tank majority of the time, and it's going to damage the tank. So if you hit all the other tracks or the other wheels in there, it's not going to do so much. Now, there is a little bit of spaced armor on this thing. It does help out. You can damage right there, but it's not going to do a lot. Most of the time when people shoot me here in that spaced armor, I mean, I know it's only covering a little bit, but, or right there on any of the other wheels that are nearest to the ground holding up the track, I get tracked. That's it. I might get damaged here and there, but usually my tracks absorb all the damage and I don't lose anything. Now, this side is angled pretty nicely. It's not angled very badly at all. I like how it's angled because I have ricocheted with this side, moving up to the upper part of the hull. Now, the rear part of this is where the engine is, just like the KV4. It's kind of sitting in the middle of this tank a little bit, well, a little bit past the middle, heading towards the rear. But it's a nice spot to hit if you want to take out the engine or catch this thing on fire. I have not been caught on fire with this thing. Artillery is going to have a little bit harder time with catching this thing on fire. It's not impossible, but the turret does pretty much cover a lot of this body. But who cares if you hit the engine? If you can knock out the fucking people inside, who cares, right? Anyways, moving up to the turret. Of course, we talked about that one spot in the front right there where the hook is. That is a good spot to shoot at if you want to take out like the gunner or something like that. I think that's the gunner, to be honest with you. And then this rear spot, kind of in between where these two handles are, all in that middle section right there, you can shoot, and that's probably the loader right there, because the further part of the winged area of this turret, you can see there that it is the ammo racked area, where you can ammo rack everything. So yeah, that's probably the loader right there. So anyways, this is pretty much the side, guys, and let's move to the rear. Alrighty guys, here we are on the rear of this tank. Now remember, like I told you, this does have some pretty decent armor on it, especially the turret. So to be honest with you, just shoot at the back of this thing like you would at any other tank. Don't shoot at the actual turret itself. I mean, yeah, you would like to ammo rack it. Maybe the FV 215B 183, the tank destroyer, or Death Star as it's known in the World of Tank community, would probably do a nasty shot on this tank and possibly just ammo rack it and blow it up. But as I stated, I would go for just the rear of this tank if I was anybody else. And that's what I shoot at when I go against these fellow STI workers, or the ST-I tankers. So, but pretty much that's it, guys. I mean, for the rear of this, you're going to catch this thing on fire and you're going to damage it on the rear. So let's move to the other side. Alrighty guys, so now we're on the final side of this tank. Pretty much the same replica of the other side. You know, the front and rear wheel are good spots to shoot to track this thing. There is, you know, that nasty spot to hit for taking out the engine right there. Now, the only thing difference about this side and the other side is on the turret, you can see that there is pretty much kind of where the star is. The Russian star is. There is a weak spot there. But to be honest with you, yeah, it doesn't matter. If I'm going to shoot at the side of this thing, I try to ammo rack it. I try to shoot it right there where the ammo rack is to blow this thing up very easily. This is a nasty tank. You do not want to keep in the battlefield. You want to take this out as quickly as possible. So, but that's pretty much the end of looking at all the weak spots on this tank. Alrighty guys, so we've looked over the stats between this tank and the IS-8. We've looked at them both. They're pretty nasty tanks, but this tank of course has some better armor than the IS-8. Now, like I was saying, you know, there's some weak spots on this tank. Do not let this tank live. If you see this tank out there and you're fighting it, don't let it continue to live. It's like an E100 or a Jagdpanzer E100 in that sense. You want to try to take them out as quickly as possible, or the FV 215B 183. Those are tanks you really want to take out quickly. There's, you know, Waffle E100s. Those are certain tanks that you're just like, oh my god, if he hits me again, I'm going to be so pissed. Because they're nasty tanks. And if they, you know, are allowed to live, they're going to destroy a lot of tanks before they're dead. So it's good to really focus fire on some of these stronger tanks that can give you a really challenging time. I mean, I'm not just saying those are strong tanks. I mean, that back Chilean medium tank for the French is a pain in the ass. I hate that tank. I hate that tank. I hate that tank. He's pissed me off so much because he's so fast and he can kill me so easily. So that's another one that you really want to take out quickly. So anyways, enough about that. Let's take this thing out and we can continue talking bullshit and everything else. Alright guys, we're on Westfield Standard Battle. We are going to be going against... Wow, this has been happening to me today. I get like maybe 2 tier 10s, 3 tier 10s, and then the rest are tier 9s. So this should be a nice battle on here. I'm just trying to see if... Penguin God HD. I know him. I think he's a follower. I don't see anybody else. Anyways. Alright, so hopefully these guys stay up here and we work this top. I know a lot of people like to split up, and I do too. I like to have a good amount of my team going one direction and us going a different direction. But really, to be honest with you, if you can hold this top area, I mean, even if they take over the other side and they start attacking the base, I mean, getting turned around and shooting at the enemy is pretty nice from up here. This is a nice spot to own. Oh my god, there's tons of these bastards. They all thought of the same thing. Let's come up here and fight. I don't think anybody's going to be covering this side, so looks like we've got the middle covered and the left side cover. You always want to try to cover as much of these positions as possible. You don't want them to come over the middle or the side or this side to get easy access to shooting your buddies in this side. Alright, we're going to take a quick shot there. The T-57 can tear my ass up. I've had it happen over and over again. He is a nasty heavy to be going against in this tank. I mean, I've got some decent armor, but the thing is, he's got 4 rounds of fucking penetrating bastardness, and I hate him. I really do. Maybe we can get a good shot on this STA. There we go. Good shot. T95 bounces. T95 bounces. Now, we really don't want to be going against a T95. He's pretty decent at actually turning himself. I mean, he's not fast. Don't get me wrong. He's not fast. But the thing is I do not want to be going against a T95 unless I have the ability and means to get around him. I am not going to do too much to him in the front. Not at all. It looks like he might actually push, which might be a problematic scenario for me. Ooh, nicely done, Artie. I might actually risk myself coming out here and shooting him in the side. I think that might be a good choice to do. Yeah, that was a good choice. Yes, and then someone finishes him off. You know, I did risk going out there and being seen by somebody else and possibly dying. But it was a risk I was willing to take. Alright, there's that T-57. And I don't know how many rounds he has left. I really don't want to face him, even if he has 3 rounds left. Come on, buddy. Come on. What are you doing? I really want to help my friends out, but I need to get rid of this T-57 if I can. Oh god, here he comes. Alright. Is he gonna come? Maybe we can sneak up behind him. Let's try doing that. Maybe we can get a good position on him like this. Oh, not good. Yep, knew that was gonna happen. Might have to push up on him. We might have to take another shot just to be able to kill him. Oh my god! He bounced it, but I hit him. We got one more chance of doing this. I think he's out of bullets. Nope, now he is. But we're still good. We have a good amount of bullets left. All we gotta do is get in there. Take him out. There we go. There we go. I don't think he was gonna try to run because he's like, well, I'm already fucked, kind of thing. So, STI-1, the new Japanese tank, trying to take me on. Alright, I'm trying to get out of here because I really don't want to be hit by Artie. And there is the IS-8. I really do not want to be in this position that I'm in right now. I want to get out of here. I do not want to be facing two tanks at once. IS-8 is just as strong as me in the sense of damage and penetration, so I really have to be careful about this. There we go. Good hit. There he goes. He bounces. That's what we need. That's what we need. He's not using that tank properly, so he is not going to be bouncing a lot of my shots, to be honest with you. And this stupid rock pile that I keep forgetting about, I keep running it over. Nope, not even going to try. Not even going to try. Alright, let's go after this IS-8. Hopefully he is being stupid, and yep, he is not angling himself. He got a good shot into me. Might be able to take him out, might not. Hopefully Artie's not paying attention with anything that's going up on here. Up here. Great vocabulary skills. Alrighty, now we're gonna push through. Hopefully. I don't know what's left. Foch. Oh my gosh. I really don't want to fight a Foch. Foches can be nasty, nasty bastards. Oh my god, there he goes. There he goes. He's going straight down. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. I really need to help my other fellow Foch out. Actually, he might not need help. Might not. Yeah. I was wondering if he was going to need help or not, but it looks like no. He is not going to need my help. And I'm doubting they're going to need my help with this. Yeah, little dude. Look, mommy, a cliff. Oh, I was going to slide down it. Alrighty, so 41,000 in silver, 1,822 in experience points. We came in 5th. We did a lot of damage. Don't worry, guys. I mean, it was a good game. I mean, we have Tiger 2s. We have a T-32. I can't remember. Is the Leopard a tier 9 or tier 10? I can't remember. Anyways, and a Type 61. That is definitely a tier 9. So, anyways, everybody that beat us with tier 9s and 8s. So, yeah, Tiger 2's tier 8. T-32's a tier 8s. So not bad. We did really, really good as a tier 9. If those guys were in here, I probably would have been 2nd place because the Leopard would have beat me on that. So, and the Type 61, I don't know why he beat me, but anyways. Just probably, yeah, because of his assisting and stuff like that. But anyways, not bad at all. 8 shots fired, 8 actually hit, guys. We did pretty good. We damaged 4 enemies with this tank. We did 3,100 damage. Not bad at all. I'm very happy with that. And this is how a lot of my games have gone. There are games here and there that I do die pretty quickly in the game because maybe my team didn't come to back me up, or they were coming to back me up, and then I didn't notice that they went a different way. I have died pretty quickly. So, but all in all, this is a fun tank. Alrighty, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this review or this look at the STI. I thoroughly love this tank line. I've been having a lot of fun with it. As you can see, I did really well on this mission and the other mission that you saw while we were talking about the stats and stuff like that. This is a fun tank This is a nice tank line to go down. I really highly recommend this tank line to anyone that is looking for a new tank line to go down and not get frustrated because, you know, you're having a terrible time with the barrel or the gun that you have on there, or maybe the armor is just so crappy on it that you're doing shit. You know, we took on a T-57, we bounced a couple, he took a couple good shots into us, we took him out, we took on an IS-8. As you could see, he wasn't using the armor properly. He did get some good shots into me. I wish I would have checked to see where he shot me at, but for my thoughts, he probably shot me in the lower plate possibly, and took me out there a little bit. Because I was thinking he hit me in the tracked area, that front wheel, but that would have tracked me. So, but no, he probably hit me on that lower plate. Anyways, this is a fun tank. I love this tank. I can't wait to get to the IS-4 and see how that compares to the IS-7. We're almost done, guys, with this line. It's been a fun ride. It's been fun ride. It's been a fun ride, guys. It's been amazing. I can't wait to finish this lineup. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Please hit the like button. You guys have been amazing supporters of my YouTubing channel and my buddies' YouTube channels like Rush Dodge, Cosmic Harry, and everybody. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for everything. It's you guys that make me grow and try to push harder to make my content better. Nobody else. You guys are the best in the world. And for that, like I said, if you guys didn't watch my IS-3 video, go check it out. But I will repeat it right now. When we hit 4,000 subscribers, I will be doing a live stream, and I will be doing a giveaway session. I will have t-shirts, I will have probably other things to give away, and the #1 prize that I will be giving away will be 1 or 2 gift cards for Xbox Lives that you can buy for gold. I don't know how much they will be. I will try to do like the $25 ones. So, hey, it's free money. It's, you know, for you guys. So, I want to really thank you guys for all the support and appreciation that you guys have done to me. You guys are awesome. So, anyways, I'm WizardKen. Until next time, see y'all.